Hey, what's up everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Star Season 3, Episode 2, and the name of this episode is Who's the Daddy? This was a really good episode, and let me begin here. We see that Carlotta is being awakened by someone who she thought at first was Hiel, but then when she starts to come to, she realizes it's that damn Andy. Now, we come to find out she sent Andy to Philly to hide out from Cassie, but he's like, no, I gotta come back, man. I ain't going out like no bitch like that. I'm about to, work this out. And Carlotta's like, ain't nothing to work out, bruh. You dead. Like, she gonna fucking kill you. Like, there's a street code that we abide by, and Cassie don't renege on that shit. So Cassie's trying to kill you. Like, and she says that the thing about it, what I'm doing on my end is not only am I trying to run the company and do what I gotta do, but I'm trying to keep your stupid ass alive. So I was like, damn. Because we definitely know that Andy was always an asshole and was always putting himself in. Because Andy just caused a whole bunch of mischief the last time we saw him. Because it's just like, okay, Andy, you not only, because of what you did, you practically got Hiel killed. Because that hit was meant for you. And she had to reiterate that shit to him, that, dude, Hiel got shot protecting your ass. When really, that hit was for you. And I'm trying my best to keep you hidden, because she's not going to stop coming for you, because it's about that street code, and it's about respect, and she's not gonna stop until she gets you. So then we see that Star is at the doctor's getting an ultrasound. Simone didn't show, but Carlotta showed up, and and she pretty much they pretty much have a conversation about because Star's like, I wonder if this baby's gonna, am I gonna be a good mother to this child? And Carlotta lets her know that, look, you're not married, and you're not your father. You're not married. You're not Brody. You're gonna be great at this. And just don't worry. And then she pretty much says that, yeah, and it's just unfortunate that the father's not in the picture. So we from the jump don't know who the daddy is, but so therefore, while she's there, she gets a call from Mateo, and she tells Mateo, I'm away, but she's like, no, I need you now, because we actually have this movie that we're about to release, and we want a track from Take 3 to be on the soundtrack. And at the end of the day, this is Gravity Records, not Midtown. So already he pulling another stunt out his ass to try to throw Carlotta off her game. Because here it is, they made it off, they pretty much discussed from the last episode that they were going to do an album for Take 3 within 6 months. Now he decided, I'm going to do a movie, and Take 3 is going to be on the soundtrack. And we already see that Mateo and his wife, they kind of got this, really weird arrangement in their home, because they come downstairs, because she comes downstairs or whatever and sees that the two chicks from the last episode are still there, and he was saying that since when we start letting people spend the night, you know how I feel about that. So he told the girls he had to go, but then he wants her there to to help run the business. So then we see that Maurice and Cassie are having a conversation, with his grimy stinking ass, and he's pretty much saying that, what we need, and what Cassie's saying, what we need is a hot artist, and he was saying that, look, when we get started, she was like, oh no, I am not building my company off of no white girl. You got me sad mistaken. What we need is a black Mandingo, I mean, so that's what I need. I need somebody like, like Noah Brooks, somebody like that. And Maurice was like, well, the thing is, you know, if we gonna be working together, I'm gonna need you to be legit and none of that gangster shit. And she was like, look, just get Noah's pretty ass over here, and we'll go from there. And he was like, well, I don't know who you talking to, but I'll see what I can do. So I'm like, see, that damn Maurice is already starting to get a whiff that, yeah, Cassie's something else. But you cross her ass, you gonna regret that you ever did. That's all I got to say for Maurice, old stupid ass. And pretty much he was saying that that's what we need to do. We need to take somebody directly off of Carlotta. So Cassie is directly coming for Carlotta. And I'm like, Cassie, you are real fucked up, because at the end of the damn day, you the one that's wrong here, and yet you keep doing more wrong because you feel you need to prove a point to Carlotta, because I think there's a lot of jealousy there, and she's just acting on her emotions, kind of like what their mother said about her in the last episode, that she's always been trigger happy. She's always quick to act before she thinks. So therefore, we actually see Alex. She's still getting flashbacks about the crash, and we come to find out the girl Jasmine that she was sitting next to, she did die, and Alex is blaming herself because she feels that if she would have stayed with her, she would have lived. But we see that Alex and Derek are talking, and they were saying that, well, we're not going to New York now because contractually I have to be here and do this album, with Gravity Records, so it is what it is. But then we see Miss Ruby comes in and she starts folding clothes. She ain't saying nothing to nobody. And then eventually Alex leaves. Derek goes over there to check on his grandmother and sees that she has been beaten and she's shaken up. So we see that she was brutal. That she not only was raped, but it was a brutal rape. And we just see that she just broke down, and I'm just got so heated. I'm like, Lee, you better resolve this shit, and I mean you better do it, man, because that really hurt my heart. And then we see in this episode that Derek was just so distraught because he really just can't believe, why would somebody do something like that to an old lady. So he was like, oh, I'm gonna find out who did this shit. And then Alice was like, look, that's not gonna change anything. She said, watch me. So we see that Derek is pissed off, and we definitely can tell this had a definite major effect on him, because just that quick, the unthinkable happened, and it just so happens when it happened he wasn't home, so he obviously is taking this on him as well, and I'm definitely gonna talk more about it. So then we actually see that Simone is talking to Angel on the phone, but then afterwards she runs into Mateo's wife, and she pretty much lets her know that, look, we didn't actually have sex. You actually got very drunk, and I just put you in bed, and you threw up on your clothes and all that. So I just kind of put you in bed, but nothing happened. And I'm like, I don't know if I believe her ass, but okay. But then she was kind of like talking about, her marriage to Angel, and she's kind of conflicted because she does love him, but then yet she does want her own life, and she does want to continue to be here with her family. And pretty much, old girl lets her know, well, you need to learn to put you first. So then the next time we see her in the meeting with Mateo, and they confront Carlotta, and she's real short too, and real kind of like, yeah, we actually are here to discuss a meeting about the new movie. Remember? Like, being real short with Carlotta. I'm like, boo boo, you don't know Carlotta. Don't get your ass kicked, okay? So it's a movie, and it's supposed to be starring Noah and Star. They're going to be the leads in this new movie. And pretty much, it's in the movie's called Black Ivy. Ebony and Ivory, right? Yeah. So pretty much she was like, Star can't be in no movie. And he was like, what do you mean Star can't be in the movie? Star is one of the hot artists we got on the label right now. But then she was like, no, there's a reason. And she actually tells them that Star is pregnant. And this asshole Mateo puts it on blast. Next thing you know, Star and all of them are hearing about this shit, out in the streets, that she pregnant. And it was something that she told Carlotta, but she thought that it was just gonna back them off of her. But what he did is that he used it to magnify the movie and to, he used it as business. Because, the whole game is that all publicity is good publicity. So then we actually see that damn Star was mad as shit when she found out. And then, Carlotta was like, man, he ain't gonna be happy till I hurt his Ricky Ricardo looking ass. So they actually go in there and confront Mateo about it, and he again was like, look, use this attention and make it work for you. Everything is great. This is exactly what we need right now. And she was saying that, so you literally just take something personal about me and you just put it out there like that. But Carlotta lets him know, I told him, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't for him to do this. I didn't think he would do something like this. And he says, well, I didn't think you would actually run your mouth and say anything either, Carlotta. But then she was saying that, look, we're going to make this work and it's already out there. So just have fun with it. So she was like, okay. And next thing you know, we saw that Star started to get morning sickness. She threw up on his ass, grabbed him by the shirt and literally threw up on him. And she said, you can take that out of my budget. I'm like, Star, you gross bitch. But I was so here for that, though. Because what he did was some shit. Because he did pull a shitty move. So then we see that, damn Noah is out and about. And that damn Maurice sneaks up on him. And he's like, yo, I want to come to you to talk about business and all that. And he's saying that, I know you trying to take your career to the next level, and I know you ain't trying to be corporate or nothing like that, and I know you really wanna actually have more of a personal feel and all this shit. So pretty much, Maurice tries to sell him the bullshit, and Noah shuts him down. He was like, man, I don't trust your shady ass, and I just got out of rehab. Not once did I get a call, how you doing, what's going on, how can I be there for you? But then all of a sudden, you want to talk to me about business like we boys and shit. Dude, we done. So he just shut his ass down. So then we see back at Derek's, Miss Ruby, they pretty much had they pretty much got the police there. They found her clothing and they want her to do a rape kit. But she flipped out and was like, nobody is touching me. And this definitely upsetted Derek even more, to the point that, yeah, he's ready for vengeance. And I don't blame him. So we actually also get a scene where Cotton is with Jalen and Star comes over. And, Cotton wants to know the tea, like, who the baby daddy. But Star is not trying to reveal who the baby daddy is. But then we also see that they showed a scene where Jalen is coloring a picture of Hyle, and he was saying that he was saying that, look, this is Grandpa, he's my superhero, and he got shot down just like my cousin Trey. But then she was saying that, I don't want you to go through a dark place, baby. Won't you do a different picture of a different hero? And he was like, no, Grandpa's my hero. And this definitely spurns something in Cotton to want to seek justice for Hyle's death. But little do you know, boo boo, the person who took him out is right in your backyard. So we see that, Take Three's in the studio. Simone and Star are not on good terms right now. They taking jabs at each other. Simone is just not feeling Star, and Star is just she's trying to make amends with Simone, but Simone ain't trying to hear it. And then it gets to the point that it gets crazy that Miss Bruce has to step in and was like, you bitches need to stop this playing and y'all need to get back to work because these are orders, from Carlotta. And then we see that that's when Alex gets the call that something happened to Miss Ruby. She goes to the house and meets up with Derek. We see that Miss Ruby is still shaken up, and then that's when Derek was like, "Who the hell rapes an old lady? A piece of shit. That's who does it." And he was like, "I'm gonna handle this shit." And that's where it leads off. So she's pretty much there with Miss Ruby, and we see in this situation, her and Miss Ruby have one thing in common, that their power was taken from them, and now they're dealing with the effects of that happening. So she talks about, so pretty much we see that Miss Ruby and Alex have a conversation. Alex reveals that if I would have stayed with that girl, she would have died. And I feel like if I would have stayed there with her, she would have lived. And Miss Ruby tells Alex, "It's not your fault." And she says that yes, and what happened to you is not your fault either. But then she talks about, "I lived in this house for 20 years. I had my husband here. I raised my children in this house, and I never, ever went through anything like this." She says that after 20 years of working hard and being a woman that cares about her family, I deserve to have a safe home. And that son of a bitch came up in here and he took it. He just took it like it was nothing. And Alex was like, "Yeah, and that motherfucker ain't gonna take another thing else." So we see that it was Alex that actually got Miss Ruby to go to the hospital to get that rape kit. And like, yeah, Lee, catch this motherfucker for real. Because I was so bothered by that. Because it just goes to show you, man, you got some evil people in this world. And that was a prime example of pure evil. So then we see that Star and Noah have a they meet up in the studio. Noah's like, "I've been hearing all the comments online or whatever," but then he kind of lets him know that, "Look, I had a screwed up father, but he's like, I know we had our thing in the past, but I want to know if the child is mine. I really would like to know. Don't keep something like that from me." But she was like, I ain't sweating it, But she says that, "Look, I already did the math. You're off the hook. You ain't the baby. You are not the father. Pull that shit from Murray. Like, you ain't the father, so don't even worry about it." But she's like, "But don't worry about me. I'm gonna keep it pushing, and it is what it is." So then we see that damn Cassie, is checking out these men, and trust me, baby, the men were fit. She was just getting her life, and she pretty much was talking to Maurice on the phone, like, "Look, you need to get Noah. Like, what the hell? Like, what you mean you let him go?" So she's like, "Shit. It's just like all the damn time. I always got to do everything myself." So then while the guys are going out, Cotton's coming in, and Cotton's like, "Damn, okay." And she's like, "What you got going on, Auntie?" She's like, "It's nothing like that." So she's planning on what Cassie's planning on doing is creating like this really big venue, like a music venue, where it's gonna be like, it's gonna be like this big club where it's gonna showcase all of the great talents. But she's trying to make Noah like the headliner for this new music venue in Atlanta, and he'll be the face of the club. So she sits down and so Cotton sits down and talks to Cassie. She discussed Hail's death and that the cops aren't doing anything, and she was like, "I just can't believe," and she's shares the fact that how she feels about losing her father, and she says, "I wish I would have got some more time with him, and I just feel like I got robbed." But then Cassie was like, "Don't worry about it. I got you covered. We gonna find out who did this or whatever." And I'm like, "Cassie, you are literally digging a grave for yourself, because when Cotton finds out you killed her dad, she is never gonna look the same way at you ever again. And it's Carlotta that's keeping this secret. So what makes you that's also gonna have an effect too, because she's definitely gonna be mad at Carlotta that Carlotta knew this and didn't tell her. So we just gotta keep our eyes open with that one. So then we actually see that there's now this big press conference due to all the buzz about the movie, as well as Star being pregnant. So they immediately start coming up with the questions, saying that Star's a hoe and is she fit to be a mother and all of this shit. And the questions are just coming left and right. And they pretty much are trying to direct the questions to the movie and about the music, but they just want to talk about Star's personal life. So it gets to the point where Star just flips out and she's like, first of all, my baby daddy is none of your damn business. And if you really want to know what my role of motherhood is going to be like, won't you go in the kitchen and ask your mama who your real daddy is? I was through when she said that shit. I'm like, Star, you better fucking read. Because that shit was everything when she said that. Like you want to question me about my motherhood? Like, won't you go in the kitchen and ask your mama who your real daddy is? Like, let's be real. Like, shoot, ain't no perfect families out here and ain't no perfect parents. And Star just flipped the fuck out, and then like Miss Bruce is like, oh shit, them hormones are starting to kick in. Like, so that shit was just crazy. Then we actually see that Andy reaches out to Noah, and he asks like for money or whatever, or like a loan, and he says that, no, I gave you a lot of shit in the past. I'm like, yeah, you gave him a lot of shit because you were jealous of Noah, and we all knew it. You wanted Noah's spot, and you just knew you were never gonna get that spot, and you were just being an asshole because you just didn't like the fact that Noah was in the spot that you wanted to be in. But then he pretty much says that, look, I'm in trouble and I need help. And he was like, look, we just got off on tour and all this stuff's going on. Right now everything's in limbo. But he lets him know that, look, you can make it to the other side. Whatever it is you're going through, you can make it through it. So, but he's letting him know that everything's going to be all right. But we see that Andy is kind of tearing up because he's scared. He really is scared because he knows right now there is a hit out on his ass, and him coming back, you're putting yourself in danger. So then we actually see that that Cotton and Carlotta have a sit down, and Cotton is also talking about Hiel and what about the investigation, what's going on. And she's like, look, I really don't have any answers right now, baby, but I got to get to work. But she's like, but that's all you do. You just work all the time. You don't talk about Hiel. You don't discuss it. And it's like you just don't have time for me, nor do you have time to actually make sure that Hiel gets justice. But then she was like, that's okay, I'll talk to Aunt Cassie, because it seemed to me she's been here for me more than you have been. So that definitely struck a nerve with Carlotta, because I'm like, bitch, if only you knew it was your aunt that killed your daddy, boo-boo. So then we see that Simone, after all this whole situation went down with Star, and she saw that Star, because Star was right there on the panel with her when all that went down, when she flipped the fuck out on the press. She goes into Mateo's office and was like, look, let me be the lead in the role. She's like, well, I'm not going to do that, because after all, you're just backup. Star is like the main attraction. She's got a hit. But like, yeah, but Star right now is, she's in a place where she can't do this, but I can play this character, she's like, I've been through it all. I've been through the trenches, and I can play this part, and I can play it better than anybody. But she also lets him know, and she says that, so what's your name? She says Simone Davis. And I'm gonna let you know something. You fuck with my sister again, you ain't gonna ever forget my name. And I was like, there you go, Simone. You go in there, you ask for a job, and then threaten a motherfucker in the same breath. That was sweet. And I was so here for that. So then we actually see that Cassie gets to Noah, and she talks about this new music venue. We get a scene where, you know, he kind of visions how this music venue is going to go and how Noah will be the main attraction. And, you know, we see Noah does this song or whatever. And, you know, and pretty much afterwards, you know, Cassie gives her spiel about the thing, and she asks him, so are you with it? And he's like, yeah, I'm with it, but, you know, I don't make no moves without Carlotta. And he was like, why you have to go through Carlotta? She said that because, you know, Carlotta's always had my back, and I trust her business acumen, so I can do that. Or I do have a friend who's in a bind, and he's talented. His name is Andy. You know, he just got back in town or whatever. So maybe you can, he's another person that could be of interest to you too. And she was like, oh yeah, I always like fresh meat. Like Cassie's like, oh yeah, she's about to tear Andy's ass up. So I'm like, oh shit, and oh shit, Noah, you just put his ass in more danger and you didn't even know it. And then, like, we see while Alex and Miss Ruby are at the hospital, they've been waiting for over an hour, and the nurse has not come to give a rape kit. Alex demanded, no, we're gonna get this now. You need to get somebody in here to take this. This woman is old and scared, and she was violated in her own home. You guys gonna give her a damn rape kit. And they actually get this situation taken care of. So then we see that Star and so then we pretty much see that Star and Bruce, take three's back in the studio. Bruce was kind of like there, you know, being like the overseer, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. We see that Star and Simone have another, you know, squirrel between them, and like Simone this time is really trying to reach out to Star, but Star right now she now got the hand up like, bitch, I was trying to reach out to you. You didn't want to hear what the fuck I gotta say. Now you want to talk to me? Get the fuck out of my face. So you kind of had all that going on. And then we see that Alice comes in after dealing with Miss Ruby, and she doesn't mention anything to them about it. But, you know, she's saying that, you know, what don't kill you make you stronger. So but it was also during this scene too that finally, after the whole after Star and Simone were going back and forth, they finally made amends, and they was like, okay, we're gonna make this happen. So they go and they do the track. So then we actually see that Cassie's about to get in her damn car to the point she gets sideswiped by Carlotta, and she's like, you know what? Stay the fuck away from Cotton. And she's like, that's my niece, and I could be around her anytime I want to. You know what? I'm really trying my best not to hurt your stupid ass. But you know, but then she was like, oh, stupid? Really, bitch? Gravity Records? Here it is, you now in another situation where you not really calling the shots. Someone else is running the show. What I'm doing is an actual family business, you know, where it's about the family, it ain't about selling out to corporate America. And she was like, first of all, bitch, you wouldn't know the one thing about family, and you know, and like, if anything, you just proving the fact that you don't know what the hell you doing and you need to fall back. But then all of a sudden, before she got in the car, you know, Cassie was like, oh yeah, and tell Andy I said what's up. She was like, what? She's like, uh-huh. Yeah, I know he back in town. And she's saying that here it is, you got all this anger and animosity about me killing Hyel, but you already knew that the hit was made for Andy, and yet the main person that's responsible for Hyel's death is right in your face, and you ain't doing shit about it. She's like, yeah, okay. Get the fuck up out my face. I'm about to handle some business, and the hell with you. And that was the end of that. And then we see that they do the Take 3 performs the song Madonna. That song is hot too. I've been listening to it a lot on YouTube. That shit is like that. So then we see so pretty much they decide that they're gonna release the song on their own. They're not gonna do it through Gravity. They're just gonna get it out there. So Carlotta and Mateo have a meeting, and she was like, "Yeah, we may be on your label and you might be my boss, but at the end of the day, I'm responsible for those girls, and don't nobody get in the middle of how the way I handle them. I handle them the way that I see fit." And she says, and first of all, but he's like, "Yeah, but now that the song is out there, it can't be used on the soundtrack." She's like, "Yeah, it can't, but either way, it's still winning. And besides, that's gonna be one of the first tracks off of Take Three's off of Take Three's new album." So here it is. She filled her end of the bargain. Then he was one trying to do some side shit, but she kind of let it be known she's not gonna be pushed around and she's not gonna be sidestepped. So I was like, more power to Carlotta's ass. So then we get a scene with Derek and Alex, and Derek finally breaks down, and he was saying that, I don't believe in nothing, like the God, I don't believe in God or the police, because how can something like this happen? But then she was saying that, look, to tell you the truth, these things happen, and we just gotta see it through. But then we finally see that Derek breaks down. And it was definitely touching, because don't nobody want to see their grandmother or their loved one go through something like that. So then we actually see that let's see, okay. So then we actually see that Cotton is still talking to Hyle at the studio. And she's saying that, look, I'm trying to keep Andy safe. I'm trying to get the girls moving. I'm grateful that you right by me. So Hyle's spirit is with her. And then we get a scene with Noah. He gets a knock on the door, and it's his father. And his father obviously has hit hard time, and he's living in his car. And he was saying, and his father was like, that was real, cut how you handled me after I saved your ass. And he was like, yeah, and I meant what I said. Now that you saved my ass, let that be the first and the last thing you say to me. But then his father lets him know that he's living in his car, and Noah opens his door to him. So he's going to let his father stay with him, and we're going to see how that's going to turn out in the next episode. And then we get the bomb. We actually, Star finds Jackson. Remember Jackson that was, he worked with them on tour. And we come to find out that Jackson is the baby daddy of Star's baby. So we're going to see how that's going to turn out. So now we know who the baby daddy is. And that was everything. So, that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of Star. Yo, I'm on the edge of my seat with Star, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. But next week, it looks like it seems that Cassie and Carlotta get into it, and Carlotta punches the shit out of Cassie. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. So until next time, everybody, take care.